yeah, we'll move these into the corner here. Let's go.
This is definitely doable for Penta, where they would just go for one of the sites that
So
the
I'm gonna try and be louder than the voices here, but I do want to listen to what the casters say, because they can add a few interesting points that I skim over or miss. I need to fix this. This is buggy as shit. So Penta immediately open up with a bar on Chalet, a bar and gaming room defense on Chalet. This is predominantly to throw off the enemy team. I don't know whether Penta have practiced this against any Brazilian teams or any teams around Europe, because I've never seen them play this before, so this is a first for me to see this. And the question is whether Black Dragons are prepared for this kind of thing. Obviously, Black Dragons probably do have some kind of default strategy to take bar gaming by the looks of the drones up to the north corner, the northwest corner of the map. It looks like it'll probably be a master bedroom trophy room push across the map. But KS is ready for this, Penta is ready for this. They've planted a mirror window just here. And this is a prime counter for pushing that cross, especially when you put a bandit behind it. So yeah, here's the rest of the spawning. Let me up the quality if the quality looks a bit shit. Hopefully the quality doesn't look too bad for you guys. It looks pretty gash on my end. But yeah, look at all these drones immediately. Black Dragons coming out with a huge drone storm to gain information immediately. Basically, this is what a lot of the Brazilians teams do. They drone and push very quickly and aggressively at the start of the round, so they have a maximum amount of time to execute on the bomb site. Hopefully, is this quality shit? It's shit for me. But straight away, Eunice is doing what Eunice does best, which is being completely random and unpredictable and aggressive. He's going to immediately run away once he's been cornered, and he's going to play in an unpredictable position inside of the fireplace, great hall, main lobby, whatever you want to call it. But I think he's going to get droned out immediately, and it looks like Kamikaze is going to be on the flank watch down here. He's going to face up against Fabian soon. He's still got one Claymore left, so he's not going to Claymore behind him. He's probably saving it for somewhere later as he gets a little bit deeper into the basement, and PZD finally finds Eunice in there. But he's very vulnerable here right now, as Psycho could open things. You see PCD is going to push him and drone him and push him. He's an easy flashbang at this position because he's not peeking anything. So right now, this is what one of Penta's big problems was, is that they would always just be alone. They'd get pushed, droned, pushed again, and pushed into a corner, and then team killed. So look at this. Immediately, as they get that frag on the single player, the rest of them drop into the basement because Kamikaze knows or has heard Fabian's in the basement. And this is one of the reasons why Penta just sort of flopped on some of these rounds, is because they were never playing together. They were always alone. They always put themselves in situations where no one can help. And that's what Penta has always done best. They've always supported each other. They've always been in positions where they can help one another. Looks good to you? Good, good, good. So this is definitely isn't something typical that you would see from a top floor push, like a west to east clear or a north to south clear, beg pardon. As there's not very many people pushing across from the master bedroom side of things. They're actually doing a more main fireplace push. As you see, Kamikazes on the fireplace window. You got two people inside of the sandwich doors, or the double doors as some teams call them. The vast majority of the push is coming from here, and I think they're trying to keep Fabian pinned down in the basement. They got Julio above just to cover the crosses so no one can push that way. And the rest of the team are going to push across from the main fireplace, and this is really dangerous. It's a single entry point. I don't think they've managed to Habana open up behind the bar. No, they haven't, because Pengu's still playing there. And this is where Black Dragons probably are going to lose the round. I didn't watch it all entirely when I was playing. Yeah, and there goes the diffuser, and now it's a 1 versus 2. And the time is not on his favor. So basically what happened there is that Penta had a very solid defense downstairs. Across the entirety of the ground floor, Black Dragons put themselves in a position of weakness, essentially, as they had to push through a single choke point with a smoke on one side with 3 smoke charges left with 30 seconds remaining, and a Jaeger on the other side. There's a mirror window above, so you can't put any top-down pressure, and they've got a player in basement, which requires one person to constantly look down the fireplace stairs to the snowmobile basement. And that basically means that Penta are holding off 2 players from Black Dragons and letting 3 players from Penta hold a single choke point, which is just game over at that point. Black Dragons had absolutely no chance of winning that round. They did get in, they did get some good trades, but they lost a lot of time doing so. The smoke grenades from Pengu came out at just the right time, baited out for kills. Goga got some kills on his Jaeger. And yeah, that's basically Black Dragon's downfall, is they didn't put pressure anywhere else. If they, for example, put 2 people fireplace and put 1 person outside the gaming windows, they might have gotten a little bit more value out of it. It might have like distracted the player inside of gaming. Pengu might have tried to take too much advantage of the mirror window facing him and maybe not paid too much attention to the fireplace. There's a lot of factors that Black Dragons could have changed there to make themselves win that round, but ultimately they played it wrong. But they did it right, if that makes sense. They got a lot of results from the incorrect play. That's basically what they're good at. What the Brazilians are good at. They're good at capitalizing on just their ability to play, and not about whether the strategy is the right one or the wrong one. They're very good at just getting kills, which is why you'll see them ultimately win this game. They're very, I'm going to keep saying it, they're just very good at shooting people. So Penta are running a Ying. I think this is the first one we saw in the tournament. I'm not 100% sure, but Black Dragons are holding they're holding the office and master bedroom pretty heavily. They've got 2-3 players up there, reinforcements, positions, but they're not paying too much attention to the surroundings, and Pengu is able to get up on top and get a free pick onto Ella, which is huge because Psycho is one of the standout players. He's one of the star players. Excuse me. And now that they've got office completely uncontested, they've more or less got control of the entire top floor. Eunice is going to entry frag immediately. Julio gets the nitro from below, which is probably part of the strategy here. And PZD's trapped. Eunice doesn't look to the right, but he's going to get called out by Fabian. Oh, nope, never mind. A good crossfire there. So basically, they've completely not... They've completely disregarded the positions of the players upstairs, Penta, right now. And the fact that no one has communicated where that bandit was is huge. So right there, Eunice could have easily said, I got shot on my right side. He's in the corner by the couch. He's on your left. Whoever's on the window. And that was all down to a miscommunication started from Eunice. So if Eunice had actually called, there's a guy close right, because remember, when you die, you don't get a kill cam, but you do get the freeze frame, and the freeze frame is very important because it tells you exactly where that person is. And especially when you get shot and the indicator is coming from your right hand side, you know immediately where you're getting shot from. So that is a miscommunication from Penta's part, and that led into a spiraling event where several players died one after the other, trying to peek to get a refrag. So once they gained control of the corridor, Penta could have rotated a player around up to the master balcony instead of just dicking around on the catwalk around the outside. They could have slowed it down, rotated the player around, repelled him up, and got him on the balcony for a little bit more pressure towards the bathroom, especially towards a player that is inside of the bedroom. Because remember, if you have that ash hole where Eunice was stood, and a player repels up onto the master balcony, no one can push that player on the master balcony as typically as they would be able to because of where Eunice was. So Eunice played too fast behind, and his teammates were far behind him, as well as Pengu getting nitroed at the same time as the push happens. Eunice didn't call out where he got shot from. The Thermite, played by Fabian, I think, tried to get a refrag and got killed in a crossfire. And then the refrag tried to come in from the Ying. Ying didn't look right because the call hadn't been made, so he died to the Ying and lost the round because of it. So Penta now running a downstairs basement defense with only one player on site, so this is a heavy extended defense, roam again type play. They have the mirror window inside of bar to hold down the entirety of bar. They've got Eunice dicking around inside of the west main lobby. You've got a couple of players upstairs. It's kind of all over the place, this defense. All over the place. So Penta's strategy with this one is to try and take as much ground as possible to deny as many drones as possible, hence why they are playing a mute, and to waste time. That is the strategy right now, waste time. Because they know that Black Dragons will clear the roamers. They know that they will push the roamers. They know that they will not drone the bomb site and see that there is only one person on the bomb site. So right now, this round could have been over. But Julio's going to open up with the first frag. And that's a nade onto Fabian, who is playing upstairs inside of the library, as the rest of the team begins to push aggressively towards the inside, as Goga's going to probably get blindsided by the Ash here. As, yep. Oh, never mind. Bit of a whiff shot right there. That was really bad from PZD. But never mind, he gets the frag anyway. So yeah, this round could have been over by now if they had just rushed the bomb site, but They didn't have that information, they didn't drone for it, and because of it, they clear the roamers. But the roam clear game on Brazil is always strong, and they managed to get 3 picks without getting a refrag, which is incredibly strong. And this is what Black Dragon's strength is. Their main strength is their individual ability to get kills. And they are all on the same page when they come into these rounds. That's what's impressive with Black Dragons and the rest of the Brazilian teams that are at the top end, is that they're all able to play together without too much communication, without too much coordination. It's just, I'm going to go kill this guy. I know where this guy is. And his teammate says, okay, I'll come kill him with you. And here comes the next nade. It doesn't somehow kill KS. There's no Jaeger device, so it got a little bit fortunate there, but he's going to get pre-fired by a wagon and then leaving Pengu completely alone inside of the wine closet. Yeah, so basically what Blood Dragons did there is that they identified that there was one on A, one on B. Okay, guys, what is the easiest player to kill? Smoke or Mira trapped in a corner? Well, Mira doesn't have a night. Well, Mira does have a nitro at that point, but Pengu has 3 smoke grenades and he's in a closet and he's got a Mira window. Yeah, it was open, but he does have also a rotation hole into the corridor. So you can push down the blue stairs, you can push down the fireplace stairs. You also have the holes above. Like, that Mira is dead. There is no chance that the Mira survives that situation, so she is the easiest player to push in that position. So they push her with 4 people or 5 people. 4 people, beg pardon, because I remember Pengu did get a frag on the player flank in the rear. And that's how they won the round. They got the free pick, and then Pengu's in a 4 versus 1, which is basically the story of this entire series of matches, is Penta member versus 4 Black Dragons. And that is one of the ultimate reasons why Penta end up losing this. And we are going to a break now. Never mind.
No, I'm pretty sure it's because they wanted to show our faces a bit more. Oh, yeah, I'm 100% sure of that. You can't go wrong with the bow tie. Yeah.
Right. Excuse me. Sorry, I have to keep drinking or else my throat gets a bit hoarse and dry.
Anyways, so getting back into the game.
So right now it looks like Black Dragons are doing a basement defense, and it looks like it's an extended basement defense. So they're going to try and hold down a bit of trophy room and the dining room with a smoke and a Valkyrie. So this can work pretty well. I want to see where PZD goes right now. He's going to go up West Main Lobby and see where he goes. If he goes to the top floor or not, whether he reinforces his teammates. But yeah, 2 players on site. So you're going to have a bandit trick on the B-bomb site, and you're going to have Julio inside of the wine closet with a mirror window. So basically this is a really strong sort of like 1-1 split defense on the bomb site. Both of them can't really get pushed. The big weakness to this strategy, however, is a rush from blue stairs. That is the big weakness right now of the strategy, and it can be completely abused. Even though that Valkyrie camera is there, they kill that Valkyrie camera immediately, only show 1 player to it. Get a few drones and then push, as Goga's doing immediately. Excuse me. So what they need to do now is distract Wag, thermite the wall open at the same time, and then Wag has to give up the B-bomb site. If they play this quickly enough, they can get into the bomb site, hold the roamers back with some key positions, i.e. put a player inside a fireplace, put a player, I don't know, top of the library stairs potentially, and then push the bomb site as 3, and all you need to do is trade. You need to trade in your favor and you can win the round, but I do remember how this round goes, and that is not how it goes. As, yeah, Goga goes to the peak, but he peeks into a pixel peak and get picks off for it, which is really nice from Julio because he's using, it's a hollow versus an ACOG, which is pretty nutty. And right now Fabian's in fireplace with, I think it's Eunice inside of bar. The cameras are still up outside. Pengu's going to be holding the flanks here, as Psycho's got his little mirror window that's going to be a pain in the ass to cover the rest of the bomb site, or not the bomb site, the rest of the fireplace. But he's not on it right now, so if Pengu can go to the office balcony windows if he wants to hold the flanks from there, but as it stands right now, his drone is useless. His drone stands for information only because he can't act on the information that he sees. So right now what's happening is Penta are delaying for a very long period of time, and they're getting picks here, there, and everywhere, but they're not getting any work done towards the bomb site. The roamers is still going strong. Anyone who wants to go back to site has come back to site at this point, and there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. It's a 4 versus 3, but things aren't really getting opened at this point. Only the hatch is open, as Eunice is actually going to drop in and do a bit of a rush. He gets the first frag, wags behind the bomb there, gets picked off by Chaos, and now the last one is in Kamikaze, who's in the closet. And he gets picked off. So Penta could have won that round a lot sooner. So the reason why I said that doesn't happen is because they take the slow route. They do kind of what I was suggesting, but they push it too slow. They show themselves to the camera, they dilly-dally a little around, that lets Julio get into a position where he can pick people off with a pixel peek. The rest of Penta are a little bit muffled around, they're running around, they're trying to find an opening whilst getting picks, and I think Black Dragons really messed up that round because they were constantly getting, like, they were peeking things, like you saw the Valkyrie on the kitchen window, for example, was a prime example of getting picked, you know? Even though there's a Valkyrie camera out there, you can't just willy-nilly peek it, you have to time it when the player is not looking at you. And he timed it poorly, and he got picked off by Pengu, and if he didn't get killed, if he killed Pengu, he was going to get instantly refragged from Fabian on Thermite, which is the big key point in this position, is that no matter what he did, he would get 1-for-1 traded, and the round wouldn't have changed regardless. But yeah, Penta definitely looking into that round to try and get picks more than pushes. It worked out for them pretty heavy-handedly, but I think Black Dragons could have easily countered that just by playing a little bit more reserved towards the midsection of the round and making more moves towards the end portion of the round. So now it's a trophy defense. There's nothing strange coming out from Penta apart from Fabian's mute, but as we discussed before, Penta are pretty well aware that they need to deny drone information from Black Dragons because they do a lot of drone-based pushes. However, Black Dragons are running a Blackbeard and a Glaz. Psycho known for his Glaz play. He has a lot of highlights of Psycho doing crazy flicks on Glaz, so that is a very scary player to come up against on that operator. And now we have to see what Black Dragons really want to do. They're spread very thin right now. You got a Glaz on side of Pride Rock. You got Blackbeard chilling around the basement side as Thatch is still on the spawn rock for Campfire. And here comes the drone. So the reason why Psycho is droning is because he's not going to be doing a lot of droning later on in the round. So he's obviously just going to drone for information because his pushes later come with smoke grenades and not drones. So his drones are not as highly valued as, say, for example, Thatcher's drones, where he would be a primarily support player. And his role is to be a support. And now Black Dragons are just looking for picks. They're on all of the windows around the top floor. They're on office windows. They're on library windows. They're on the sort of bathroom balcony windows. They're everywhere, and they are really looking for Eunice, and they can't find him because of either mute jammers or he's just killing them as they're coming. And, oh, there's a big mistake from PCD. He drones down the hatch, leaving Eunice to go completely unknown here. And this could be very dangerous as they're just going to rush past him. So Eunice gets one. He whiffs on his prone there. He tries to go for the drop shot thinking that the Blackbeard would peek into him. And because the drop shot kind of screwed him over, kind of stuck him in the animation, Blackbeard steps out, steps back into him, and then pre-fires him and kills him. So Eunice trades himself 1-for-1 as PZD dies. Fabian gets picked up by the Blackbeard at the same time. So that obviously goes into the favor of Black Dragons. Losing Ash isn't the end of the day. That is a disposable player, as Chaos does something very bizarre there. I don't know whether he pushed out and tried to wide peek or whether he was just playing there to try and get a cheeky pick. But either way, he gets picked off because of his aggression, so that's a really big misplay. Goga's ready with the Nitro. So not a lot of teams do this. This is a very old school. This is like Season 2 of Year 1 kind of things. You know, you don't see this anymore. And there goes the Nitro, and it gets stuck. And that's really big. He could have gotten multiple kills with that Nitro, but whiffing that could have potentially cost them this round in the situation, as Pengu's going to get picked off by the Blackbeard of Kamikaze on the window, and Goga's going to push in through the flank, but it's a Glaz, and you push in through a smoke, so he's going to shoot you in the face anyway. So yeah, Penta lost that round because of unfavorable trades at the start of the round, and that put them in a 3 versus 4 deficit. Chaos got caught out in an aggressive position, basically in the middle of nowhere on the bomb site, putting them in a 4 versus 2. Pengu, obviously really distracted with the imminent push coming from the dining room, has to take a 50-50 decision split. Does he watch his window, or does he watch into kitchen through the dining room? He chooses the dining room and gets flanked by Kamikaze and dies, 4 versus 1. And then it's Goga versus the wall, and he has to run back onto the site after missing a nitro. His position is called out by a player in bathroom. He runs through a smoke into a glass. There's not much you can do about that, and dies. Drink time.
This is Penta's 20th series in the Pro League this year. There were 7 in Season 1, 7 in Season 2, and this will be game number 6. Now, if we take a look at that, if we don't include
Excuse me.
Penta is 18
So Black Dragon's opening up with a bar this time.
in the finals of the playoffs.
So bar is an interesting bomb site. Just to give some history on this thing. This bomb site became viable the moment that Mira was introduced to the game. So the reason why this bomb site was such a pain in the ass is because you could never really hold the gaming room from the bar because you couldn't really peek into it. You had to put reinforcements up so you couldn't get wallbanged between the two of them. But that denied your vision of into the bomb site. Valkyrie cameras were only so useful, especially when you had in mind that you could just drone out Valkyrie cameras, thatcher grenade them, or just shoot them. You could jump inside and plant. All you need to do is have both of the windows on library open, and when you're going to plant, you just throw grenades in through the window. So the player where Kamikaze is right now, he just gets naded. Like, you just throw some flashbangs at the start of the round, you go into plant. Okay, we're going to plant in 5 seconds, start cooking nades, throw in nades, kill the guy on the hatch, jump inside and plant. You can't do that anymore now that mirror windows are a thing. So now they're opening up Snowmobile Garage. This is probably for a flank holding. Fabian's not been found on the... No, Fabian as IQ has not found the camera, which is really, really bad as an IQ. It did get thrown late, so we'll have to see how he feels about that one. Wag here is dancing with the devil himself, and I'm pretty sure if I was Wag in this situation, I would have just gotten a headshot at that point, because I remember talking about this with my teammates. But Wag really pushing his luck right now. He got away, luckily. All he needs to do, though, is hold the blue corridor and make sure that no one can push from below, which it probably will do. A lot of teams now these days that bars become a more staple bomb site do have like a solo pusher push from the blue stairs very late into the round. Stereotypical mirror window that we're seeing pretty much on almost all the bomb sites. All the bomb sites, beg pardon, all of the bar defenses, I should say. These nades from Fabian aren't going to do a whole lot. The bounce from them doesn't get too far into the room, especially when PZG can just sort of strafe out as the first frag comes out as Chaos picks off Psycho, and Goga finds the pick onto Julio's, which is really, really big, as Pengu's going to call out now the player that is dancing on the doorway. So it's a huge player advantage swing, but Chaos loses the advantage as it goes down to a 4 versus 3, so it is now winnable by both teams as PZD is going to make an aggressive play. And he's going to get the pick for it as Wag also comes up from the fireplace stairs and gets another pick. Now the advantage has swung even heavier into Black Dragon's favor. Right now, Pengu isn't putting on a lot of pressure. He's definitely showing his presence, but it's not getting a lot done. Wag is now going to get revived by Kamikaze, which is the right move at this point. And now they know exactly where Pengu is, so they can just peek him at the same time. Now, Eunice, if Eunice peeked a little bit more aggressive right now, he could have done something. And I'm pretty sure at this point, Eunice also hears PZD above him, which is why he looks up the hatch. So I don't know whether that was a miscall from Eunice, like, hey, there's a guy above me, or Pengu didn't react to that call in time. Also, Eunice could have probably gotten 1 or 2 kills there if he'd played a little bit more aggressive and looked towards the fireplace stairs into the snowmobile basement. That's very uncharacteristic, beg pardon, of Eunice not to peek that, or not to at least peek it and look at it. But I think right in that situation, he's relying on Pengu to give him call-outs of people coming up the stairs so he can peek into them as they're coming up. So in that situation, Eunice is relying on Pengu. Pengu is distracted because he's getting shot at from library. He also sees one player come up from the stairs who's also pre-firing his position, so he's not on the camera. So the question is, did Pengu communicate to Eunice to peek? And the answer is no. I don't think he did. Or else Eunice would have peeked into him. Or peeked into the Jaeger coming up the fireplace stairs. And that round could have been completely different if A, Pengu had called the peek, B, if Eunice had called that he had footsteps above him. There's a bunch of other factors, but they are very minor in this situation and maybe could have changed around, but they're not major enough to be really talked about all too much. So, for example, if Eunice was a little bit more aggressive, but this is all hindsight. This is the only stuff you see on the VODs, when you think about it once it's already happened. So now we're going into, I think this is a basement defense? Or is this a bar defense? I can't quite tell. The quality on my end is absolutely abysmal. I'm looking at pixels right now. Oh yeah, it is a basement. Okay, good. Sorry. So Black Dragon's running a similar lineup to what they did in the previous rounds. Psycho obviously really favoring his glass play. Probably world famous at this point for his ability to play glass. He's a very skilled glass player. Makes a lot of the highlight reels. So we're looking at the exact same basement defense that Penta did last time, putting Pengu alone inside of Wine Cellar, putting a few people spread around to key positions on the map, and then ultimately fishing for information. And I think the end goal is to collapse on the push, wherever the Black Dragons decide to push from. Goga gets a really fucking nice wallbang through that window, obviously had a bit of pre-information as the window got smashed open. Julio needs to work on his throwing arm skills. Here's the mirror window we saw in the previous round, going to lose a drone immediately. Really risky play there from Julio with that drone. He could have driven the drone through the corridor instead of the drone hole and peeked around much easier and much safer and potentially saved his drone, because he is the Thatcher, he is the support player in this situation. His drones are valuable, as Eunice is going to get a frag onto Kamikaze, and that's the Blackbeard off the clock. And that's really important, because Blackbeard's super important in these rounds, as he's a big key fragger for them. As you see, he died here in the library corridor, and Wag has the diffuser, and he's going to challenge too. And now Eunice is trapped. So Eunice did get himself one kill as Gogo got one, so it is a 5 versus 3, but this could easily swing around as Eunice is tagged there. That is warbangable. And Wag is going to get the first frag onto Gogo. Gogo goes down, and Eunice is now one shot as the rest of the Black Dragons are now completely rotating around. I think they're really trying to force the bomb site now as they realize that people aren't on the site. In their knowledge, they think right now that the one is bar, one is library, and one is wine cellar, so that leaves them with a unknown bandit, essentially. But obviously Penta at this point have rotated around. There's 30 seconds on the clock. Pengu has all of his smokes. There's no one coming around on the flank. Penta can completely force themselves to look at one direction with very few downsides, I'll say, is that Eunice with a really good pre-fire. Basically, if Eunice didn't get that kill there, the round would have been completely over then and there. But they get to trade, and Chaos gets two quick picks, to keep them in the round. So yeah, if Eunice did not kill Glass, that round would have been completely different. So that was a power kill. If that didn't happen, Penta probably would have lost the match there and then. So Penta running a similar lineup to as they always. They're swapping out to a Buck this time. So and a Ying. So they're bringing in the Ying again as Helio changes it up to pull a Capcan out. So this is the Buck. They expect it to be trophy, so they bring the Buck. That's why. And they're correct in their assumption. So right now, Black Dragons have default won the round. And I'll tell you why. Looking at these two operator lineups and the bomb site on the map, it is clear that Black Dragons have completely countered what Penta's plan was. So Black Dragons are going to put Capcan traps all across the office, all across master bedroom, all across the top floor. They're going to roam one player in library to waste time, and they're going to put 3 nitro charges on the bomb site. They have 3 chances of getting a pick through the floor, because they know that Buck will go upstairs and open the floors, which is why all of the Valkyrie cameras are upstairs. So PZD with his LMines can delay as much time as he feels he needs, and then trade himself 1 for 1 or die. It doesn't matter. PZD is a time waster, as the rest of Penta are all going to push from this angle. There are Capcan traps littered all across the top floor. There are 3 nitro charges. There goes the first Capcan trap. 3 nitro charges downstairs. With a pulse, Valkyrie cameras. Sorry, beg pardon. 4. Yeah, no, it's 3 nitro. I'm counting wrong in my head. So Penta have to keep moving quick and fluidly. If they stand around for too long, they're getting nitroed. And this is like a huge read and a huge counterplay from Black Dragons. And now it's a time of who gets what. So do Black Dragons get the picks they're looking for? Or does Penta get the picks through the floor that they are looking for? And there's the first pick. So that is Buck off the board. No more floor destruction unless Pengu wants to rotate around or Gogo wants to use the Thermite charge. Probably not going to happen. Obviously, Gogo running Thermite right now means he's probably going to go Thermite open West Lobby later on in the round, or maybe he's a spare later on. But yeah, this is looking terrible for Penta right now as 2 picks through the floor with no return frags. Eunice is on 1 HP. If you fucking sneeze on him, he dies. Pengu's on half HP because he's hit a Capcan trap. And when they have used their Nitro charges, when Black Dragons use their Nitro charges, they drop out of the site and go roam, which is genius. They're just gonna come up behind them later because they're so distracted with dodging Nitros, dodging Capcan traps, that this is a complete and total counter to the strategy. Oh no. So obviously Pengu sees him on the camera, goes to the push. Kamikaze comes from behind and gets 2 kills because he went roaming. So Black Dragons had the perfect counter to the Penta strat. They baited them in, they read them perfectly, and absolutely dismantled them. And the crowd goes wild. Yo, Herman, how's it going, mate? Balls of Thunder, how's it going? Welcome. Alright, so let's skip on through to the next match. So we're on Clubhouse now, which is an interesting map choice. Clubhouse, in my opinion, is more about aim duels and coordination and teamwork than it is about strategy. So whichever team has the best coordination, teamwork, and aim should win Clubhouse. If you excel in 2 of those 3, you should win Clubhouse. Play this map. Played this map since fucking year 1, season 2. Now the real question is what does Penta want to do with the starting strategy? So some teams like to start the round, start out on basement, start out with a aggressive defense, put a bunch of reinforcements in bar, maybe they put people inside a master bedroom or the cash room or roam people in the garage, just to put a little bit of early pressure on the other team, make them, keep them on the feet, keep them on the toes, keep them moving, keep them dancing. But Penta are opting for a complete full defense inside the basement, no roamers right now. Obviously, Black Dragon's expecting something else, which is why they brought the Jackal. And they do have a book as well, so they have a lot of floor-based destruction and exothermic destruction too. And they have a glass for the smoke grenades, so this is really good. So they have 4 smoke grenades, because Jackal has 2 and Glaz will have 2. Pengu's waiting for drones to come through the drone hole as the thermite's going to open up the wall. This is pretty much bog standard play. Open up the wall, open up all 3 of the hatches and save 1 thermite charge, or alternatively you open up the bar hatch with the thermite charge and save a Habana charge for a mirror window. So Eunice here took a lot of damage to the floor. He didn't take damage from the hatch exploding, as Milosh points out. He'd already taken that damage before, and he took that damage trying to challenge one of the players through the floor. I think it was the Buck. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember exactly who it was. And like I said, Black Dragon's opening up the bar hatch with a thermite to save a Habana charge. And now the floor opening begins. Penta not running the... really strangely not running their pulse underneath B-bomb to try and challenge the Buck. Instead, Eunice opting to do it instead is not really the right operator for the job there, because the nitro charges are very powerful underneath, basically around the gold vault where Eunice is stood. First smoke grenade comes out. I'm pretty sure this is to bait nitro charges, but nothing really comes of it, as they have a Valkyrie camera in that room, so they know when he's going to push. First frag comes out. Eunice dies to Julio. That's really big. Now they can rush Gold Vault with an Ash charge. Oh, they don't have Ash, so they can't do that. Never mind. Ignore me. They can book it open, though. Gogo comes around the corner with a pre-fire because his teammate's on the camera. And, Oh no, he killed Goga. Oh fuck me, I thought he fucking killed the other way around. My bad, ignore me. But yeah, Black Dragons rush. There you go, that's the round.
I am at a loss for words. That is a push.
I thought Goga died. I thought Goga got the kill on there on Psycho.
In a normal fashion.
By the way that the camera played out.
The glass play. No, Psycho moves
Because right here,
inside of the church.
the camera switches off for half a second to Goga. Which has really confused me. That really confused me. But no, yeah, Psycho gets the pick. And that opens up the room. Obviously, they've got some drone information on the room. They know that there's only one player in that room. There's one player towards the blue. The rest of them are around Gold Vault. Obviously, Pengu's inside of the tunnel. Excuse me. So then just rush it with 4 or 5 people. Which is pretty much like the easiest way to attack that bomb site, is to just rush it. Nothing fancy, no thermite and open the church wall. Just walk into the room and kill people. Black Dragon's going to the basement. Fabian this time playing Glaz. Pengu on Blackbeard. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting round. Black Dragon's running a Legion. But I don't know why the name completely escaped me there. I was staring at Kamikaze's icon. I was like, yes, Legion. Yes, Legion. Fucking names escape me sometimes on this game. Alright, so Black Dragons opting for a full reinforcement on the Ash Rush wall. So that basically opens up their ability, Penta's ability to try and do a church push, for example. They can easily push church if they have a strategy for it. If they see that these two walls are reinforced, they can just run up and Thermite open the wall, or Habana open up the window. There's a lot of things that they can do in this situation because of the way that is. But yeah, Dirt Tunnel gets opened up by Goga, and I think that's what Pengu's going to push a little bit later in the round, as they rotate PZD in there, because he's got the Ella Mines. It's going to make Pengu a little bit easier to kill when he's stunned, and then they finally rotate Wag in there. So they've stacked some gadgets into the room, Wag dancing with death, as he really fucking likes to do this. Really likes to bait out shots and plays with his opponents. So in this room right now, we have smoke grenades, Legion traps, and an Ella Mine. So what Wag does in this round is very important. He baits Pengu forward constantly into more and more traps, more and more barbed wire, so on and so forth. He lets Pengu come forward, and then he's going to push him when he gets past the smoke grenade. So he's going to leave Pengu with an ultimatum. He has Psycho ready to peek into him along with Wag. There is a smoke grenade right above where Pengu is on the corner. When Pengu pushes inside and past the smoke grenade gets popped, forcing him through the smoke and back out to safety, taking smoke damage, a lot because he's Blackbeard and slow, like this, or he pushes through into Wag, which is why that Ella Mine was there. The Ella Mine goes off and so does the smoke. It slows him down even further. He takes a shitload of damage for it, and Wag just keeps pushing forward on the smoke grenades. Perfect play from Black Dragons to counter Pengu's push. And now Penta have found nothing through the floor. They have found no picks, not a thing. So Fabian gets the first pick. He plays this really smart, smokes the window and pushes forward. Goga's going to get refragged immediately as Chaos misses a really important frag as well. Kamikaze gets Eunice, and now this flick, it was nuts to kill Fabian. They all tried to push from the same angle at the same period of time. Really cost them the round because they had no pressure on the kitchen, they had no pressure towards blue, which allowed the entirety of Black Dragons to rotate and set up for a church push/rush. They just gave BD an easy win by all pushing the same angle at the same time. Typically, the way that Penta plays, like Penta in, I don't want to say Penta in the prime because they are an extremely strong team. They probably still are in their prime. They're just having a bit of a shitty day. And everyone has shitty days. Penta should have put a player on the blue hatch. They should have put a player on the kitchen hatch. And they should have probably pushed 2 people. They probably should have let Glaz push like he did alongside KS. Put fucking Eunice on one of the other hatches and put Who else was alive at that point? Go got on another one. Drop 2 hatches at the same time. Push Church at the same time. That way, every player from Black Dragons has to look at something in a different direction to where their teammates are looking. So no one has crossfires at that point. No one has crossfires. No one has backup reinforcements. No one's going to save them. Nothing.
What I'm trying to say here is that Penta is always direct. They are very confident in their team and their
But they didn't. So this is Penta's pretty much like patented bar hold when they're in basement. They did this. They've done this a lot, and it does have a very big weakness, a very big counter. But they're going to put 3 players up, 2 players down. One player in church, 1 player inside of the gold vault. So the weakness to this strategy is just to jump into garage and run. You jump into garage and rush. If you do it with 5 people, you just overpower the 1 person that's in one of the bomb sites. Just choose a bomb site and just rush it. That is the big weakness to the strategy, is Eunice is in the top floor, so Eunice rotating to the bomb site is going to take 10 to 15 seconds. The rest of the players, the 2 players inside a bar, it's going to take them 5 to 10 seconds to get back to the bomb site. So you have 5 to 10 seconds to rush once you've revealed or exposed, essentially. And Black Dragons, obviously, once again, being Brazilian, they really want to push out the roamers. They're going to banner open the mirror window. They're going to basically put a lot of pressure on the bomb site from all these different angles. They're going to push them away from different places. An early smoke grenade goes out, and Penta have fully rotated back to the bomb site. So when you do these extended defenses like this, you absolutely cannot give up bar. You have to die in bar, because if you give up bar, you give up all of the reinforcements, a mirror window, a shield, barbed wire. Pengu gave up a smoke grenade. For what, 1 minute of time wasted? That's not enough. And now Eunice has been caught out and cornered. So now he's going to get hunted down by 5 Black Dragons members, and there is very little he can do. He can hope to trade himself at a 1-for-1. Hope for it. And trades himself 1-for-1 after doing the teleport peek. Naughty, naughty, Eunice. I noticed that.
4 players from Black Dragons, all trying to flush out Eunice on the top floor. He walked away with 1 fragment zone before.
And now it's up to Penta to hold off for 40 seconds with 2 smoke grenades and bare bones reinforcements downstairs. However, Black Dragons wasted a lot of time hunting down units, so Penta do have a very strong shot of winning the round, so long as no one gets fragged in the next 5 to 10 seconds. Penta should win the round, because even though they played it wrong by giving up bar way too early, they did waste time with Eunice's roam. But Kamikaze is going to get an entry frag onto Chaos. Psycho walks in, gets fragged by Fabian. Pengu picks off Helio, and I can't remember who got the last frag there. It went really quickly. So Penta played that wrong on the bar, but Black Dragons played it even worse everywhere else.
You know what? This is one of the defenses that we're always.
So if Black Dragons did what Penta did, Penta should have done in the previous round, like spread themselves a little bit more thin. They probably could have won that round a little bit more heavy-handedly. They had opened up their way into the gold vault from the main corridor. They had the rotate hole was already there from Penta. Penta had made a rotate hole there. If they put a player on the kitchen hatch, they put a player on blue, which is what they did. Like, if they just put 1 player on the kitchen hatch to drop, they could have gotten an easy pick on the guy inside of gold and had an entry into the B-bomb site if they had wanted it. But instead they spread themselves a little bit too clumped towards the sort of northern push, and that led them to get picked off. So now we're looking at Black Dragons holding bar. So this is going to be the first bar defense of the entire match. And this is where Black Dragons do something very interesting. So you see that they have spent 4 reinforcements in the garage, and they are also reinforcing Strip Club. And they put 2 reinforcements on Cash Room, rotate holes across both of the top floors. So this is a very greedy defense. This is what you would call an extended defense, or overextended in this situation. 2 players in strip, 1 player in garage, 1 player in cash room, 1 player on the bomb site. So where is the weakness, boys? Where is the weakness? Quick 5 seconds to think about it. You guessed it, walk in through the main door. Penta right now could just walk in through the main door, kill the player on site and plant, as everyone else is spread extremely thin on Black Dragons, to the point where they don't even have a rotate hole between the bomb sites. They don't even have a rotate hole between A and B. But Penta really looking to hunt down the roamers right now. So I'll have to see what they do with this, what they want to do here. They've identified that they have the ability to rotate across the top floor, as Kamikaze and Bandit are still inside of the strip club. So that's 2 players, essentially a non-factor right now. In fact, the only person that has any impact on this round is Psycho. But now the floor is being bucked open, the game has been given. Penta are looking to attack B, as Psycho is rotated into the lounge. No one's in lounge, no one's in garage. So that's going to give Psycho a lot of free reign as Nitro comes to the floor. He whiffs that throw immediately. Really poorly thrown. Psycho's going to go for the drone and gets picked off for it. Goga's going to challenge PCD, who's inside of like the pit drop. And now they have complete and total B control. They can't rotate into it very easily. Wag is trapped on the staircase from Fabian's position here. So that is essentially a 1-for-1 trade. And there is another trade elsewhere. So right now, it's basically a 2 versus 3. 2 versus 1 as Wag is trapped on the staircase still, and they need to find Kamikaze. Oh, never mind. Wag managed to escape. I wonder where Fabian went. Oh, Fabian went outside. Okay, fair enough. And now it just everything slows down as Kamikaze. It's Kamikaze's move to make, and his move is to revive Wag, as I'm pretty sure Fabian hears it. Kamikaze gets really... Oh, he traded. Wow. Okay, so now all they need to do is plant while KS watches. I think KS is still upstairs. So this is so risky right now. Eunice gets the wallbang, though. Like, that is so risky, what Penta did right there. Like, KS was not in a position to help with very many pushes. KS would have had to have an instant reaction to a player running through the door. But because there's a Valkyrie camera in there, they just ping Eunice. Like, that was risky as fuck from Penta, but it does play out for them, bringing it into a 2-2 score deficit. And now it's bar for Penta, so we'll have to see how this one goes.
So far, pretty standard from both teams. 6-2 from PZD on the board. Same for Kamikaze. KS on 0-3. Unfortunately, not being able to.
So what you guys are saying?
Just yet. 2-2 tie. This turns yet again into what we saw in our previous map.
Alright, so Penta are not running anything out of the ordinary, nothing special, but Black Dragons are running a fuse. So a fuse tells us one big thing. They want vertical gameplay, so they're either going to want cash or they're going to want master bedroom. Julio's drone is outside of cash, so ring-a-ding-ding. Where's he going, boys? He's going cash. It's pretty obvious. You can tell where attacks are going just by where the drones are placed, and when you're a defender, you can generally tell a lot as to where the drones are. So, for example, if you're a roamer and you see 3 drones dicking around in one part of the map, like you kill a drone in a drone hole, there's a drone like trying to get into the building around that area, you know it's going to come from that part of the map, and you can really abuse that. So yeah, they've sort of set up a bit of a horseshoe shape on this push here. So they have PZD coming in from the south, Psycho on the north, and the rest of the team is on the east. Claymore is going to go outside here from PZD. That's going to catch anyone trying to run out of strip and kill players on top of cash room. Fabian is hunting drones in garage, but he's not going to find anything. The main door gets opened, and now it's pretty obvious at this point that this is a cash room push, and I'm almost certain Penta at this point should be rotating to try and accommodate this. And Fabian doesn't even know that they've got into the garage. Oh, that was really risky right there, what Fabian did. He could have gotten picked off from Kamikaze. He didn't check his angle there. you know, there's a minute into the round. You have to assume that they're going to be inside at that point. And now Fabian is trapped. Claymore's going to go down outside the window. It's pretty typical. And now he's going to get distracted by that window being open. He's been droned. Kamikaze is close to him. He managed to get the pick on Julio, but he's going to get traded immediately as a 1-for-1. Right there, Eunice could have really helped him, but instead Eunice was kind of stuck on the bomb site because of it. Like, once again, it's the whole Penta playing alone thing kind of catching them all off. And now it's a 2-for-1 trade. Your impact player, Eunice, is dead. Your IGL is dead. And a lot of the cameras are down. You do have Valkyrie cameras. I don't know exactly where they are, but it's Pengu versus the world at this point because Chaos and Goga aren't in positions to really help him at this point. Like, especially when you've got a Glaz in this position, like, you're not going to get a lot done. Like, Chaos is really far back behind the bomb, and Goga is on pool table, I think, or he's close to main door. I can't see. Yeah, he's close to main door watching the side door, and Chaos is watching... I don't know what Chaos is watching. I don't know what Chaos can see at this point. Maybe the door to the kennels? But both Goga and Chaos can't help Pengu. And Goga makes a really aggressive play and dies for it, which is really bad. Good flick from Chaos, gets a pick, and Pengu gets pushed by 2 people at the same time. Chaos gets another pick, really well done. Wag starts planting, and PZD's gonna run away from the main door. All he did to do was shoot him. So now, Chaos can just defuse. They had him on camera. They started pinging him, which was the first mistake. He could have defused. Chaos, if he started defusing immediately, could have won a 1 versus 4 clutch. His team pinged, gave away the camera's position, and could have just called. Yeah, he's outside the main door. Just start defusing, and we'll call if he starts pushing. So Penta played that round poorly. That wasn't Chaos's fault. That was the team's fault. They could have won that round. They had all of the information they could ever need in that situation. And even if Chaos was on camera, he could have still just held the defuse. That is a new skin for the SMG-11. I think it's a global skin, or it might be revolving around like the SAS operators. It's basically when you play on LAN, you get the LAN build, which is like an up-to-date build that has all of the hidden skins in the game. So it has like the dev skins, and it has unreleased skins. I assume they're from Outbreak. I assume that the new skins are from Outbreak, because remember, you can only get some new goodies from the Outbreak game mode that comes out after the Invitational. Alright, so Blood Dragons in the basement. This time Penta opting for a IQ this time around, instead of a Glaz. Feeling that they're not getting too much use out of that operator, which is perfectly fine. Black Dragon's running a similar lineup to what they've always ran. Penta predominantly spawning towards the southern side of the map. And now we'll have to see what Penta do. So Penta typically open up the pool window and drone it aggressively. And I've seen historically like 3 or 4 of them just jump in through the pool window on some of the older VODs. When they've done like a bit of droning out. Eunice holds this area here whilst Fabian drones it, just to make sure that no one can push through. Pengu is droning top floor right now, so this is pretty staple for Clubhouse, like a really quick drone across the entire map. Gets a lot of information out very quickly and allows you to clear the map in about 30 to 40 seconds, as long as your drone gameplay or your drone network is set up appropriately. Wag is the guy in gold this time around. I'm not quite sure I agree with that. I'd rather have PZD inside of there because that gun is nuts for shooting through the floor. Having a smoke in such a contested area is very, very dangerous, especially when you're against Penta and especially Chaos on Buck. Chaos is a very good Buck, so we'll have to see how Wag plays this scenario. He does have a shotgun, which is pretty good for this kind of firefight, but ultimately he's going up against the fully automatic rifle. Oh, and they're also using impact grenades to deny the hatch here from Kitchen. This is really good because they didn't do this in the earlier rounds, and because they didn't do this in the earlier rounds, Penta aren't ready for it. So they can just freely deny that Kitchen hatch as long as they like. So when he sees Goga go place the charge, and there goes the Nitro. And that was big. So
But that
they went for
is
the
a
nitro.
huge
He went for the thermite charge on the window. And he went as soon as Goga started placing it, he opened the window. So the reason why he did that is because not everyone plays on advanced gadget placement. So if Goga didn't play on advanced gadget placement, the window would have opened, and he wouldn't have been able to cancel him placing the. Ooh, that was a really good melee hold. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to cancel placing that gadget on the wall, so you just would have got headshot immediately. But luckily, Goga did play advanced gadget placement,
He will come in, get the headshot on one, the double kill.
and PZD gets a huge double kill right there. That's a lack of information on Penta's part. However, they should assume that there is still someone playing aggressively on those open mirror windows. Ooh, bit of a whiff.
Gets the second as well. It's not done just yet. KS low on HP. Two still alive. Has to pick up the diffuser and one. Headshot right on of KS.
So yeah, once again, KS in a 1 versus 4. It literally is the story of this entire match is Penta member versus 4. Which is really sad because Penta have never looked this weak before. Everything for Penta is going wrong, and it is scary. And it is a combination of Black Dragons on point and Penta they're making big mistakes that you just can't have. Like the moment you see 2 mirror windows on Church Wall, you can't walk up and thermite that.
This is very different to the meta that we had before.
You are asking to get shot.
And quite possibly freezing. So I'm
You're asking for something wrong to happen, something to go bad. Like you have to abort your plan if you see too many gadgets, utility devices, etc., in that area. Like a good example of this is on Consulate, for example. If you're attacking top floor, and they've got like 2 people inside of the admin room. They've got a mirror window inside of the kitchen facing into admin room. Jaeger devices, Valkyrie cameras. There's an Ella in the room. There's a smoke in the fucking room. There's a bandit inside of the the kitchen. Why are you pushing admin at that point? Just fucking rotate around and go hang on the B windows or something. Like when you see an abundance of defender presence, you should not attack that because that is where they are strong. You always want to look, fish for information, drone for information, watch VODs. What does this team really like to do? Oh, they really like to put a lot of people at this side of them. Okay, cool. Sure, they probably could have made new strategies for the LAN event, but habits stay the same. Strategies change. If a player really likes to play in a room, he'll go play in that fucking room. It doesn't matter what the strategy is. Unless specifically he is told to play somewhere else, but we're talking about Brazilian teams, Latin American teams. Latin American teams are notoriously free-spirited. They'll just do whatever they feel is the right thing to do at that point. They will work together to fulfill a goal, but they have their own spirit of independence as KS gets the first strike. So here's that extended defense as he gets refragged immediately. And immediately, the moment that they lose a player, they all leave the bar. It's a 1-for-1 trade. However, it favors heavily in Black Dragon's favor. The reason why it favors Black Dragons is because KS has Nitro and PZD is just a roamer hunter and there are no roamers. His gadget is useless and him dying doesn't change too much. However, the Monty will be a huge factor at this point because the Monty isn't an active operator. He is a passive operator, as he is a shield. He doesn't usually fire. He is just a mountain in the way of your team. Why would anyone not play on advanced gadget placement? I don't know, just, ask Ren, in fact. Ask Renils. Because he doesn't play on advanced gadget placement for some reason. He doesn't like it. But anyway. So yeah, Bloodbath pointed out that this is different, and yes, it is very different. So this is looking like a huge glass play. So they're going to drop and plant. That is the strategy with this. They have 6 smoke grenades, 4 now that PZD died, and they're just going to drop and go. As the shots come down through the floor, here goes Wag. Oh, it's a Monty, you can't shoot him, and now Eunice has to run away. And now here Eunice tries to go for the Monty and really whiffs it.
It's not Pengo. It's now Fabian. It's all up to him in a 1-on-2.
So it's a 1 versus 1, and Fabian has to win, and he dies. So right there, Eunice goes hyper aggressive. He runs around the entirety of the shelving unit in the middle. He plays Ring Around the Rosie with the Monty, which is exactly what Black Dragons wanted. They want him to drop and distract and plant. So the Glaz just gets the free pick on Eunice because Eunice is too focused on the Monty. For example, if Eunice had actually just pre-fired up the hatch or peeked the hatch, he probably would have killed the Glaz. Because Glaz was looking towards the second and third box, towards the mannequins. He was more focused on the blue side of things. He's not focused on the Monty or protecting his Monty because it's a Monty. The Monties don't die that often. But yeah, that's the end of that. So some points to make is that Penta commonly found themselves in a 4 versus 1 situation, the one usually being in a really bad position to be able to win their clutch. But in the end of the day, you're not supposed to win clutches, and you can't blame someone for not winning a clutch. You blame the team for putting the player in that position. So Penta could have changed a lot. 2, it seemed that like a lot of the callouts weren't being made or were made poorly. And that's not just from like IGL, and that's not just Fabian, that's across the whole team. Like drone-based information was not there for a lot of the things. A lot of the rounds could have been ended sooner, or ended differently, or ended more decisively, or just won in general. 3, Penta weren't playing how they would normally play. They played very reserved. They played very held back. They weren't as aggressive as they usually did. They didn't push a lot as they would usually do. They played a lot more closer to their chest. A lot less like, fuck it, let's go kind of scenario. Either way, that was Penta versus Black Dragons. Now for the grand finals, ENCE versus Black Dragons. The curse is broken.